Hi everyone, welcome to the live stream of this week 34, 35. I have no idea. I lost track of the weeks. Hope everyone is doing well. My name is Patrick Velleman. I'm the community manager for Gate.io. So I handle all communication with all the users together with some other people in the team to make sure everyone is happy and everything is up to date and that everything is running smoothly. Because on the front end, everything may seem like it's working, but users may be having certain complaints or feedback or whatnot. So I'm your guy to reach out to. Let's see what's going on. Bitcoin is hovering under the 12K level. So it still seems to be like a bullish trend, However, you never know what's going to happen, what kind of FUD's going to come on the market. Everyone is ecstatic when Bitcoin rises and in disbelief of big media outlets who think Bitcoin is dead or doomed, that Bitcoin rises nonetheless. Bitcoin always seems to outperform the status quo. So at the moment, it's trading under 12K. It's doing really well. It's chopping up and down, still going a little bit sideways. No huge moves yet, but the biggest moves are coming from DeFi. Whether you're a disbeliever, total criticaster, or someone who's a super fan, from high-end institutional investors who really see the value of decentralized finance, smart contracts, and platforms, to Bitcoin holders who detest it and see it as another shitcoin scam phase. It's a hot topic. So a lot is happening. As you may know, we are doing this new weekly live stream as Crypto Fix, which means we're going to cover some topics. One of them is, some significant news which has taken place. The other is announcements, obviously, which we have to share with you about, which we want to share with you about Gate.io, where a lot of things are happening, a lot of projects are developing and trading pairs are being listed. And finally, I touch upon a subject, like a topic, which is, let's say, educational in nature. It just gives a little bit of advice for those new in the industry, to figure out how they can roam the space without making too many mistakes, or to find a guideline. The hardest thing is with crypto, right? That there's so much information that you want to process and you have to process. Sometimes you just don't know where to start. So there are ways to go about that, and I'll mention specifically doing a little bit of coin analysis and project analysis to see, which is very simple. It's nothing too analytical, but it's just a way to make sure that the information you gather is clear, transparent, and verifiable. That's the most important thing, right? That you're verifying it. I participated in an ICO in 2017 with the hype, and in that hype, you lose focus a little bit, and you don't pay too much attention because you're too excited about what's happening in the space. So I wasn't paying attention to that specific project URL. It turned out the whole thing was a scam. So emotions and getting excited too much can cloud your judgment a little bit. So there are ways to check content to verify if it's real, and you can check various analytical platforms to do so. I'll get into that at the end. But first, let's see. We're going to talk. I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on at Gate. So we've held several hold and earn rounds, right? These are hold and earn rounds where you stake a certain token and get a percentage of a specific token back in return. And what we've done since the 31st of July, I believe, which is it's about 2 weeks ago, almost, we've offered annual interest rates of up to 7% for hold and earn for BTC, LTC, Litecoin, ETH, Ripple, Bitcoin, Satoshi Vision, and Bitcoin Cash. So these are some of the larger, mainstream cryptocurrency groups, we're offering this hold and earn stake percentage on, which is still a considerable amount, right? An annual interest rate of up to 7%. First come, first served. So whoever applies to participate in it can get their share. And I'm not sure there's a limit up to how much you can stake. There is a minimum, though. If you head over to our announcements, you can figure out how much that is exactly. Then most of the developments which have been significant within Gate.io and the Gate.io ecosystem, so to speak, relate to DeFi, but I'm going to talk about that at the end. First of all, we've listed a whole lot of new coins. We listed a lot of new tokens. I'll mention some, and you'll know most of them. Ant, Aragon, which has been around for a very long time. IrisNet, Curve, CRV, the smart contract, which was accidentally deployed by an anonymous user, which meant they had to adopt it. That's something of a whole other, that's a whole different story. Let's see, as of today, we've listed AirSwap, Token, Swipe, Balancer Protocol, which is a super interesting project. Smart contract, financial, decentralized finance, Band Protocol, Trust Swap, and that's about it. That's about it. That's a whole lot. Obviously, we had the whole debacle going on with Yam, Yam.finance, which was a super cool experiment in governance, but unfortunately failed to remain in existence. For those who don't, if you don't know, you've probably not very been too much involved in the crypto space, because it was so much going on about it, because it's related to decentralized finance. And what happened was there was a bug in the rebasing contract, which means that many more yams were minted than intended to be sold, right? So there's this pool of yams in the protocol reserve, collecting, and the market's going up. The market's maintaining. There's a market value of 60 million. But in the meantime, there's these yams which are being collected, which no one knew about. It would render it impossible to reach the quota, meaning no governance action would be possible. Funds in the treasury would be locked. So they were locked. The bug was released. There was a proposal to vote for a rebase, which seemed to work at first instance. But once that happened, the price dropped immediately over all exchanges, and in the end, failed project is perhaps not the right word. However, it didn't manage to achieve what it was trying to achieve. It was an interesting project nonetheless, and I believe they're trying to come back with YAM version 2, but we'll be releasing more information about that real soon. So that goes to show, like with YAM as well, that no matter how popular a project may seem to be, it might jump into the top 100 in one go. You always need to do your due diligence, and you always need to make sure that you're reading up on a project, what it is, what it means. As long as you don't really know what it means, you shouldn't really get involved, because then any of your actions would equal to gambling. And gambling has never proven to be a very a fruitful way of generating income and creating wealth for yourself. So due diligence, read up on what you're about to invest in, put your hard-earned money in. You might get lucky. Some people may have gotten lucky, but for most things you need conviction. If you wanted to make a huge return with DOS Network, as you could have done, either you were lucky and you put in some money 1.5 months ago, or you were holding it for 2 years, and then managed to see the fundamentals 2 years ago, and then had enough conviction to wait to see for it to grow as it did recently about 2 weeks ago. These are just some small examples. Let's see, what else has been going on at Gate? Yeah, so we are intending to build a Gate chain DeFi ecosystem. That's a part, obviously, of Gate.io. We started only with spot trading and gradually built out to derivatives, margin trading, margin lending. We offer a wide variety of products, one of which we intend to do and build is to become a decentralized finance ecosystem. So we've been gaining momentum. Lots of products can be found, stable coins, loading platforms, trading networks, oracles, Chainlink, DeFi derivatives, as well as DeFi ID verification. So with our own public chain of Gate Chain, we are now investing a lot in building a highly secure Gate Chain DeFi network. We're going to feature a stable coin, USDT, decentralized exchange, which will be much more like Uniswap than that it would be like Binance DEX or Ether Delta from back in the day. So it will work with liquidity pools and not with order books. Liquidity mining, that's something interesting to look at, especially for our foreign users, because if you feel that you don't want to go through the hassle of signing up, you'll be able to get access to a whole wide variety of coins. We have about 400 trading pairs and above. So this decentralized exchange that we are building at this moment will be super interesting for you to use because it'll give you instant access to these projects which you might not have access to if you don't want to go through the effort. However, if you do want to go through the effort and sign up on Gate.io, it's not too much hassle. Some people don't do it out of principle because they don't want to do the KYC. However, if you have nothing to hide, then it shouldn't be such an issue in the first place. GT will not only be used as the collateral asset for getting the Gate Chain stablecoin USDG, it will also be used for liquidity mining rewards as well as voting. So the GT token will be, it will have multiple uses, and it's going to be super interesting to see where this is going to lead. We'll give you lots of updates on where that's going to go in the future. Let's see, users can trade USDG to provide liquidity and win rewards. The decentralized exchange, it's going to be more open and transparent, compared to our regular exchange as you've witnessed it. Everyone's going to be able to deploy a trading market for blockchain assets, 2,000 transactions per second, fast block confirmation, 4 seconds. Gate Chain is going to be super suitable for running a DEX, and there's going to be the Vault account feature, which will be able to prevent any attacks or any risks. So for those who don't know, the Vault account feature will allow you to send, store, and receive funds and have a kind of a safety limit on them with a revocable transaction model, meaning that if funds are sent and in the meantime a mistake has been made or someone's attempted to hack you, you'll be able to freeze those funds and wait for that to confirm. Let me see. Next, decentralized governance, talked about that. GateChain mainnet contains a decentralized governance mechanism where each GT holder is eligible to vote. We encourage users to participate in GateChain and the DeFi ecosystem through proposal submissions and voting. There's also going to be a fingerprint hardware wallet, which will connect with the GateChain public chain. That's for later use, as these are still being developed. Lots of super interesting stuff, which is going to come from the Gate.io infrastructure. To get on to the last element of crypto tips, what I want to talk about today is to determine your talent, right? So some of you may be traders, some of you may be holders. If you're a trader and you're talented, you'll know very soon because you would have invested the time over a 2-3 year time span to become a good trader and to know what you're doing, right? No trader doesn't make a loss. there isn't a trader who doesn't make a loss. Everyone loses, because there's no way in hell that you're going to start trading and do really well and make beneficial trades all the time. It just doesn't make sense. So over a period of time, you will get more knowledge, and you will learn. You'll learn the skill set it needs to not have any emotions, trade based on technical analysis, all that stuff. If you aren't technically savvy, if you're not into technical analysis, you're more of a holder and you want to research coins, here are some things that I think are important to do. So first of all, it's to diversify, right? So you can, for example, you don't have to go all in BTC. If you're a maximalist, you can and you sure will. But if you want to hedge against BTC, because you might be open to the idea that there are some limitations in Bitcoin, you could also buy some Ethereum. You could see that, okay, even though it's unlikely that there will be a 51% attack on Bitcoin, in theory it's still possible, but it's much less likely possible on Decred because because Decred would be too expensive to attack due to the construct of a proof of work, proof of stake hybrid system. These are things to think about, right? So my general thought about it would be not to go all in on anything, however much conviction you may have. Even though you think BTC is going to be 100K by August 2021 or 1 million in 5 years, there's no harm in diversifying your portfolio, as many high-end institutional investors do or low-end amateur investors do. Diversifying is just a smart way of hedging against something which you may not foresee in the future. So Bitcoin may be the gold standard in 2045, the new gold standard, but never become a means of exchange and always remain a store of value, in which case it's good to have diversified into other coins which do go beyond the store of value and become more a means of exchange. And there are all kinds of arguments to look in which coins would do that and which coins would not. But how scalable is BTC? How scalable is Ethereum? How scalable is Decred? How decentralized is Stellar? All these questions you can ask yourself and then determine, okay, how much percent of my portfolio would I like to allocate towards these specific coins? And the hard thing is obviously gathering information. It's not as hard to do with the big mainstream projects, for the simple reason that there's a lot of valid and legit information available on them. So you can read the Bitcoin white paper. You can go to decred.org to read about these. I'm mentioning these specific projects because they're established projects. They've been around for a long time. It's easy to find legitimate information about them. However, same with Stellar. If you go over to Stellar, you can find a lot of content just due to the fact that a lot of time has passed. They're part of the crypto ecosystem, and you can verify that it's real because there are several sources which write about it. If there's a new coin, for example, let's say you're starting today and you see a tweet about DOS Network, and you think, oh wow, that's super interesting, but it's, in your opinion, let's say in this case it's new, it's hard for you to find any information, then you can always check a different variety of metrics. So you can check the fundamentals, what they're trying to do. You can read their white paper if it makes any sense at all. Does it live up to the shitcoin narrative that Bitcoiners hold up so tightly? Then okay, let's say it passes fundamentals. Who's behind the team, and the people behind the team, what have they done? And is it something they're just putting on their CV as a virtue signal that they've been studying abroad at the best universities, or are these people with a real technical background who know what they're doing? Have they worked on other significant projects? Then next would be what's the real world value? What's the real world value in 2020? Is there going to be implementation this year or in 5 years, or maybe not at all? Is it just a hype word being used? Often it's when you see words like artificial intelligence and blockchain and virtual reality, these are very abstract terms, and it makes you need to think very clearly about what the implications are if you are considering to invest in that specific token. So you can check the fundamentals, you can check the real world use case, who's behind the team, who's advising it, who's investing in it. And once you've done that, let's say you see Don Draper is invested in it, or Fenbushi Capital is invested in the project, or Badwater Capital. There are a bunch of investment funds. When did they invest? At what time? Is the website still up to date? Could have been that in 2018 they invested a real small amount or departed from the project. Could be that the website's no longer been updated. But if you manage to find relevant information that the social media channel of that specific investment company, hedge fund, is following them on Twitter, that they tweet about them, these are all signals that stuff is happening, and that it's legit, that it's a legit project that they seem to have conviction about. That's something you can do. Then there are very specific websites which analyze tokens. Also there you have to pay attention that you're not reading something which was basically a paid promotion. So you need to read something where it's explicitly stated that it's an independent analysis, where they may have disclaimed that they may own a small part of the token which they're describing, and read very carefully what they're writing about, if it makes any sense, because it's very easy to throw all kinds of very complicated terms at you, where you are a bit thrown off and thrown off into this illusion of being impressed, when in fact not much is being said, right? So as in life, I like to keep things simple. I like to keep things simple with my writing, but also with my analysis. If it's too complicated, if it doesn't, I like interesting ideas. I like very specific projects, which are don't follow the status quo, but there needs to be a whole lot of argumentation, really good investors who participate, and a lot of key opinion leaders, for the lack of a better word, who have the same conviction about that project for me to be interested. Because anything less than that would be a gamble, and again, gambling is not the best way to go. So that's just some short reflection on what you can do if you want to get into coin analysis. There are many more things to do. I mean, you can look at supply, demand, how the graph has proceeded over the years. Even though these aren't super legit indicators, but they can help supplement your judgment. Because key in all these investments is your judgment, and your judgment is based on past experience for the past years, any other background you might have in technology or finance, as well as a bit of luck, right? Because you don't know if a certain project you have conviction in or are just about to sell might actually do a partnership tomorrow with Google or Amazon or any big other big company, which will moonshot that price of your bag to the moon. You don't know. So there's a certain element of luck about it. This is actually quite an interesting topic now I come to think about it. So I might talk a little bit about it more the next week, and then we can continue. And I would like to see comments, questions of what people think of what I'm saying, if they have any good ideas of themselves, if there are any projects we need to list which we haven't listed yet. I think that's hard to believe because we've listed so many projects recently. In any case, I wish you guys all a great afternoon and a great week. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter at Patrick Velleman. That's my Twitter handle, or send a DM to the Gate.io account. Have a great weekend, everyone, and we'll speak soon. Bye-bye.